Welcome to the Burgundy Gold Knuckleheads podcast. As always, win or lose, this is a win. I mean, man, Reggie, what is going on, Reggie?
Everything's good, man. All is back and right in the world of Commanders football. You know.
Yeah. It was a game that started out with all of us scratching our heads in the first quarter. You know, we went from, oh my goodness, what's this team going to be the remainder of the season? And by midway through the fourth quarter, you're like, well, this is the team that we expected all year long. All in one game, all in one game.
100%, man. I mean, I gotta imagine the fan base was yelling, screaming at the TV, pulling their hair out, and then it quickly became, "This is the team we expected to see." Obviously, if you watch the game, you know that first quarter, man, you could have just completely just erased that tape. I think we had 4 minutes of total time of possession, 4 minutes and some change, and the Chargers had 10 minutes and some change to equal the 15 minutes in the first quarter, and it was awful. And we ended up clearly getting the score tied up and going into the halftime 10-10. And man, I don't know what the speech was at halftime, but the play got better, the tackling got better, because the tackling was atrocious.
Yes.
We were hitting guys in the backfield or hitting them as soon as they catch the ball, and then they would get a ton of yards after the catch. And so, but the tackling got better and everything. So it was a total turnaround, man. And I couldn't have been any more pleased.
Well, yeah, it was. I don't think the first quarter was over, but I mentioned to you, I was like, it was obvious we were missing tackles, and we seemed slow, right? Chasing them down, whether it's the defensive lineman on a handoff that went wide, linebackers. It was like everybody was getting there late, and then when they did get there, they were missing tackles. And then early second quarter, the offense started moving, and once they started moving, the defense is like, I don't know what happened on the sidelines. If it was just focus, if it was a butt chewing, if it was just checking themselves and saying, we're better than this. But the defense turned it around. I mean, Justin Herbert early had that big run for 40 yards. He had another big run. If you take away the Justin Herbert runs, they only ran for 84 yards. So from a run defense perspective, they stepped up, and that even includes the first quarter when they were doing well, moving the ball some. But they tightened up on the rush defense, and that's been a strength of them through 5 games is their rushing defense, especially compared to last year.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's like they focused obviously with the free agent signings that it was to beef up the interior of the defensive line and stop the run. And that is the one thing that has worked all year. But the pass defense in the secondary has been something left to it's been bad, and it continued even on Sunday, right? You get them in third down, and then they just go and find a spot in the zone or a spot in our coverage or something, and these guys just sit down and they're just wide open and move the chains. And so although they only had 80-something yards minus the runs by Justin Herbert, their passing yards, though, in that first quarter and even the first half was a lot. It was interesting, though, man. I think it was 10-10 at the half.
Right.
And final score as the Chargers had 10 points. So the defense clamped down and just pretty much shut them out for the rest of the game. And Washington obviously and clearly got it together and went on a scoring run. But this is the defense we need to see. Not the first quarter defense, but the second, third, and fourth quarter defense. That defense shows up with hopefully the offense starting to get in a little bit of a groove. That is the team I think many of us expected to see this season, and not the team that we saw in weeks 2 and 3. And even if you look at weeks 1 and 3, I'm sorry, in the wins, they didn't look good. They won, but they were lesser teams. But when they played the better teams, it did not look good. We didn't look like a good, solid, efficient team that was going to return to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, you talking about the secondary in this game against the Chargers. They were finding the open zone, right? It was the quick little 7-yard. They needed 6 yards. They picked up 7, and it was just a simple little hook. They ran right to the spot in the zone and turned around, and it seemed like they got them over and over and over again. But when you pause for a second, when they were not in the quick little coverage like that, Washington did a good job at contesting the balls, especially downfield beyond the little hook passes. They did an excellent job. They knocked Keenan. They knocked Keenan Allen out to save what would have been a catch. He only got 1 foot down, and that was because of the hit. There were a couple other batted balls and contested balls that they did well with. And it felt like it was more yards than what they had. Justin Herbert only ended with 166 yards for the day passing. Right. So there's a lot of 6s and 7s and 8s that kind of ate us up. It felt like it. But overall for the day, he ended with 166 yards passing. But to your point, it felt like it was more.
It did feel like it was a lot more. And then you have to consider the fact that when he was doing well, Justin Herbert, it was in the first part of the game where we as a team offensively were not doing much, and defensively we were giving up a lot of yards after the catch. But as Washington offense got going, primarily the running game, which we'll get to in a little bit, but as the running game got going, the offensive passing game got going, and then the defense started to clamp down. And what was interesting about that was at the same time, the Chargers continued to lose some players to injury. It's on record. We all know that they were playing with backup players along the offensive line already. And then some of the backups got hurt during the game. And so now it was the backup to the backup. And although no one's going to feel sorry for them, because no one will feel sorry for us, we have to recognize that our defensive line was playing against the backups to the backups. And it showed because we then to get the pressure. Defensively, we ended up getting more sacks, and those all led to incompletions. And then what we saw as a result of it is they could not move the ball down the field, and they couldn't put it in the end zone.
Right.
Okay. So not taking anything away from our defense, because they did get better, but they did lose some of their backup players.
Yeah, and that's the NFL, right? I mean, we didn't. Look at all the players we were without, and some we still are against Atlanta. If we're at full strength, is that a different game against Atlanta? I think it is.
For sure.
I mean, offensively, our 2 biggest weapons of Jaden and Terry were out last week. So you go from there. But speaking of offensive weapons, man, there's a bunch of us that have been clamoring to see more and more of Bill. Krosky Merritt had 14 carries for 111 yards, caught another 39 yards for a total of 150 yards for the day, 2 touchdowns. This very well may have been his, what I'll call a true coming out party. He had an rushing average of 7.9 yards a carry and leads the NFL at 6.9 for the season through 5 games. I said it early on, and not that people didn't want to see him, but more and more people are seeing the way he runs is different, right? His cuts, his moves, his hitting the holes. He's always going. One of the things I had with Austin Ekeler earlier in the season before he got hurt is he would go to the line and kind of pause and wait for something to open, and then he would take off. And there's times that that's successful, but the way that Bill runs is he's not losing yards. He's always getting back to the line of scrimmage and then some. He does not leave any yards on the field because he wasn't going, or because of hesitation or anything like that.
Well, yeah, and to that, his running style is straight ahead, and he gets in the hole's closed up, he jump cuts it outside, go to a different hole where the play was not designed to go to. He just finds an opening to keep going. He has basically, we've heard over the past 4 weeks the reason they've kind of hinted at it, I should say. No one has came out directly and said it, but they're hinting that part of the reason he's not on the field and get more touches is he's got to get better in pass protection. But today it's like no matter what was going on, they couldn't keep him off the field. So he forced his way onto the field today. And so you just saw what they just said, you know what? Hell, we'll just go with it. And
Right.
he ended up being the lead bell cow in the game today. We did see Jeremy McNichols. We saw some Chris Rodriguez. But for the most part, this was a feed Bill type of a game, because every time he was in the game touching the ball, he was breaking off big runs with it. And so the coaching staff couldn't justify sitting this kid on the bench anymore. And so, to your point, I think the league has taken notice. I think teams will take notice. And if nothing else, I think our coaches have realized we're going to have to put this guy on the field and give him more and more touches. No doubt that he has now probably been the number one pickup on the waiver wire in fantasy football, if he's not already on people's rosters after today.
Yeah, if you didn't know about him and pick him up, at least mid draft in your fantasy football, you missed out on a bargain for sure.
Yeah, he's no longer available, I bet.
Yeah. I know it, almost nobody's going to look at it. I just saw it when I'm looking over the stats and everything. And one thing that I'm hoping we've gotten squared away, the first few games, Matt Gay was a little bit inconsistent. We brought him in and thought we were going to stabilize the kicking game. I think last week, if I remember right, it was his first field goal attempt a miss. Then he kicked 2 or 3 last week. He's got 2 this week. So hopefully he's kind of got that thing squared away, and we're going to see the consistency that we brought him in for. These weren't anything terribly long field goals, but the ones that I'll just say 40 yards and in, they should be automatic and just hit them. And I like to see that there was no question about him hitting them this week. They didn't even squeeze in. They were dead up the middle like they were supposed to. Again, I'm not making a bigger deal of it, but as the season goes on and we're winning games by 2 points, 3 points, 1 point, or losing by that amount, the field goal kicker just gets emphasized that much more. So hopefully he's got that squared away.
Well, I'm superstitious when it comes to kickers, and so if we're not talking about him, then that means he's doing his job and doing well with it. I wasn't going to say anything about it, so I'm just going to let him keep doing what he's doing. Just don't miss him. So that's about all I'm going to say about Mr. Matt Gay. So if you want to talk about him, I'll let you, but I'm not going to. I don't want to jinx him. So.
Yeah, sorry, I had little disconnect problems there, but yeah, there's the picture of Bill with a celebration there, and a great game. Luke McCaffrey only had 1 catch today, but it was a hell of a catch.
He only had the one?
He only had 1 catch today. Let me look and verify, double check. I thought he had another catch, but yeah, 1 catch, 50 yards.
That was a hell of a play. Yeah, that I don't even know the words to say on that, man, but that was a hell of a play by Luke McCaffrey, man. It was yeah, and to think that this guy's a former quarterback, it just goes to show you the athleticism and the DNA, obviously, in the McCaffrey family, that this kid is able to play at the professional level, the highest level of football, by switching positions to actually be a wide receiver. And, whatever is happening, we've seen an uptick in a little bit of production from Luke. And clearly he's working hard to improve that. But this is, I think, a little bit of just the ability to get some opportunities to get more snaps. I mean, with Noah Brown being injured, Terry being injured, the team is forced to simply allow these guys to get on the field, and I think that's just part of it. And so, with that being the case, I think it's just simply Luke being able to get opportunities on the field and be good.
Yeah, yeah. You saw a couple people, even though Moore dropped the pass in the end zone, you started to see a couple people that we haven't seen in the past all of a sudden start making more plays. Clearly, Jaden hasn't been practicing that much, so for him to all of a sudden start feeling comfortable and Kingsbury feel good to call their number out, it is a good thing. But yeah, I mean, Jaden didn't look great kind of early on, but he kind of got it in gear and got into in rhythm and looked good, the back 3/4 of the game per se.
Yeah, yeah. The offense looked good. I mean, once the offense got going, Jayden looked better. Jayden looked um, good rhythm wise. Cliff, obviously calling the game, calling plays, was good. It was just we were starting to look like Commander football, that what I think we all expected us to look offensively in this game. So I see the graphic there that you put up there. Jayden with 4,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards. And the caption says that he's the first player in NFL history to achieve that in his first 20 career games. So, again, the young fella making some history here, setting records, continuing to set records, I should say. And it's just very interesting, though, that Cam Newton went viral this week when they were profiling this game, talking about he would take Justin Herbert over Jayden Daniels to be the franchise quarterback. And of course, the Commander fan base kind of got in their feelings about that and stuff. I don't care, man. It's early in Jayden's career. I think you have to also consider the fact that everybody has an opinion, and whether that was just to be a hot take, I don't know. Whether he was being a hater, I don't know. But Jayden's played, other than his playoff games, last season, the playoff games, and the 2 games he played this year, he's not played a ton. Well, I guess in this case, 20 games. So to make some proclamation about Jayden Daniels and who he will become through 20 games, when you got a guy like Justin Herbert, who's been in the league, he's on his second contract. He's got a lot more football, a lot more mileage under his belt than a guy like Jayden Daniels. So the fact that he's even in this Jayden is in this conversation with them says a lot about what Jayden Daniels is right now in his career compared to what a guy like Justin Herbert, who's been in the league for many, many years, and people consider them. You're questioning whether or not they're the same and who's better.
And you lose track real quick of how long Herbert has been in the league, but he came in the same time as Chase Young, right?
Yeah.
So and from a Washington perspective, that's been a minute, right? He was here a bunch of years. He's left San Francisco, New Orleans. It's been time flies sometimes in the NFL here.
Yeah. But it is what it is, man. So I didn't care too much about what he said. I didn't care. Honestly, I didn't even care. I'm not even a big Cam Newton fan, so whatever Cam says, I don't really care very much about it anyway. But what a game.
He just wants to be out front. I put Cam and RG3 in the same. They will do anything and say anything ridiculous to stay in front of the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. But what a game, man! What a hell of a game that we witnessed today. I think the team needed it. I jokingly put out a post on Twitter about how, this game was going to be in the bag. We were going to win this game no matter what, because Washington win on odd weeks. We won week 1 and 3. Right. We lost on weeks 2 and 4. This was week 5. I knew we had to win, right? Trying to be funny on Twitter. But the trend is still there. We won. We won on week 5, Ken. So whether I was joking or that's how I truly feel, no one will know. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag. But I said what I said. Week 5, we was gonna win, and we did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting in a few weeks. Coming up here, we play the Bears on Monday night. turn around and play the Cowboys, and then Chiefs again,
Chiefs.
right? So the Chiefs and Bears are both primetime games, and you know the season doesn't get any easier by any means. It gets more challenging, and then you look at the Dolphins who are struggling. You know, that's in about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. But then you got to you got to travel out of the country for that. So even if that's an easy game, let's just say, and there is no such thing, right? But let's just say that's an easy game. You got to go all the way over to Spain to get that easy game, then come all the way back, and just the wear and tear of that kind of travel on you. So it's it's going to be a long season, hopefully a positive season, but hopefully it's a good season for us as we kind of get into the meat of it now.
Well, hopefully today's win against a pretty good team, although they had some injuries, but they have a good defense, and obviously Justin Herbert being a quality, one of the top tier quarterbacks in this league,
and a well-coached team.
Their receivers are no joke, from Allen to Lad McConkey, and I don't know the other speedy wide receiver they have. This was a good opponent, and it was a good opponent on the road, because at this point we were winless on the road, losing to Green Bay and then losing to Atlanta.
Right.
It's our first road win of the season as well. So all around, I think this was a good win, a good team win. It's going to make that trip from the West Coast back to the East Coast a little bit easier to be on the plane tonight as those boys head back home. So good win, man.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you don't play till Monday night, so you get a little bit of a little bit extra, an extra good night's sleep, hopefully to recover and get your aches and pains worked out. Like I said, 24 hours isn't a lot of time, but it all adds up at some point. But we'll be talking about the Chicago Bears here on our next podcast. And if you remember last year, if you saw the game, if you saw any highlights, you're not going to forget that game. And I'm just going to say right now, I don't care, but the Bears fans this next week, if they aren't already sick of it, they're going to be sick of over and over and over seeing that again. They were tired of it last year. It's coming back. That play will always last, and they're going to get a big dose of it this week, and I'm here for it, man.
Yeah, and not only is it the opponent, they're going to be back at FedEx Field where it happened, and the Washington will be wearing the same black jersey uniform that they had during that game. And I don't think that was coincidental, by the way.
Correct.
I don't believe for 100%. A second that they just so happen. They've not worn a black uniform all year, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they're going to wear that black uniform on Monday night against the Chicago Bears. So to your point, they're going to hear about it, they're going to see about it, and they're going to be tired of it by the time the game comes up on Monday night.
Without a doubt. But we'll be catching that up on our next podcast. Reggie, you got anything else?
That's it, man. Hail to the Commanders.
Hail to the Commanders. See y'all later, knuckleheads.
Peace out.